people have they have an official Lorcana Discord or whatever, and then they were like, well, we still implore you to play these like tabletop, family, friends, stuff like that. And we want you guys to have open discussions on the Discord, on social media, whatever. We like to talk and do all this discussion about the particular cards in question and whatever.
Okay.
We're pretty open about stuff, unlike Yu-Gi-Oh!
Not everybody can be like Yu-Gi-Oh! You know? Just
I'm pretty sure Lorcana's ban list was at 2 days before, 2 days after the Yu-Gi-Oh! Ban list. So multiple different card games.
Really? Does Digimon have a ban list? Do you know anything about Digimon? I
actually don't know that question. I do not. It is popular among some people that do play Yu-Gi-Oh! I watch some Yu-Gi-Oh! Content creators and they do play Digimon, but I've never played Digimon ever.
Banned and restricted. Effective March 28th. Matt Ishida. Jack Raid. Okay, so they do.
I know that the tournaments are pretty... there's a lot of people that end up playing. We went in there that one day when they were doing Digimon. And
fuck, I think I have a banned card. Shit.
Yeah. It got really popular for a while. I don't know about its popularity right now, but One Piece, Pokemon, Magic, and Star Wars seem to be the current, Flesh and Blood and Lorcana 2 seem to be the what's popping right now.
Have you looked into that Universes stuff at all? Do you know what I'm talking about when I say that? Say that one?
Universes Beyond?
Fuck. What's a...
It's got a trading card game.
Yeah, it's a trading card game that they have... right now they have Bleach, they have Demon Slayer, they have an Attack on Titan.
Universes, I think.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about, but no, I've not even looked at those cards, but I know what you're talking about. I've seen that at Walmart before.
Maybe we can dive into it, and you be able to write a fucking article about it or something. Get together and play some games or some shit. Get a little starter deck. I call whichever one's.
I do have a starter deck for a game called Nostalgics and an unopened base set booster box that I reviewed their trading card game, so I could definitely do that. I've talked to the president of Nostalgics twice and interviewed him. So,
is the Nostalgics game fun? What is it in comparison?
I obviously, Nostalgics and Illustrals, both relatively recent year card games. I'd say, obviously, every card game is unique in specific aspects, but both of those card games try to combine different aspects of Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic specifically. For example, Illustrals has your life total is determined by your spirit deck, which the spirit deck is used as a resource, which ironically, I think it's 18 life or 20 life or something. But you play an Celestial monster, you have to attach spirits from the spirit deck, usually, just like Pokemon. Certain Celestials require different types of spirits, lightning, water, wind, fire. I'm still learning that game, but you attach stuff like energy and Pokemon and do certain things, and Celestial and Nostalgics has I'd say it's slightly more complicated to explain, but I enjoyed it. I think I gave it an 8 something out of 10, like an 8.7 or 8.8 or something like that when I reviewed it. I have to find it. But
you go right
both
into
were fun. I'd have to relearn how to play it.
You go right into specific decimal points when you grade shit.
I got to, because sometimes, you give a good game a 7, everybody's like, a 7, that's terrible. But 7.8 is a little bit better than 7. That's closer to the 8 than it is a 7.
Well, see, I always grade mine on like 0.5 scale. I get it's a 7, 7.5, or an 8. Like you're either somewhere in the middle or you're all the way on 7 or 8. But it sometimes I do find myself being like
it comes down to specific aspects too. Like if
say,
there's something like really specific with like an art style or something like that, then I feel I kind of have to go further into the decimal points, so to speak. Like I reviewed Among Us VR before it came out, and I gave it a 9.4 out of 10. It wasn't quite good enough to be a 9.5, and I wanted people to know for sure it was closer to a 9 than being closer to the 10 or whatever.
yeah. But I have been recording since like we started getting into after I had said that I got to drag my girlfriend away because the conversation was good. So by the way,
you're doing your intro.
Yeah. And I had to drag my girlfriend away from the card aisle because she loves Lorcana, not just drag my girlfriend. That's not what I meant. But yeah, so now we'll do the intro, and better late than never. But is a Dodgy Yeti here with my boys Chris Jones and Q, aka Short Round, for the Thicc Boi Hours podcast, and got a few things to talk about. And first off, we're gonna go around and ask what's new with everybody, and we'll start with the Short Round fella because he's got something really cool to show off.
Oh yeah, we've been talking about Monster Hunter just about every time we get together. So I finally dipped in and got a pretty sweet gun lance. That's what I mean. That's the gun lance that you get from Zora Magdros in Worlds. It was the first one that I really like hunted a whole bunch for, and fought Zora Magdros way too many times to get all of the items that I needed to make it. So
yeah, I remembered I hopped on one time to play, and I got to the Zora Magdros level, and you were like, "Oh, go here, go there, go here, go here, go there." Yep. Like, how the fuck do you know all this? And by heart,
Zora Magdros in my sleep, literally with my eyes closed.
I don't doubt it, actually. But
so now he's permanently around and in the greatest weapon that you could fight gigantic monsters with, the gun lance.
Big boom blast. But
that's about the only new thing with me.
What about you, Chris Jones? What's new with you? Anything?
I don't have no cool tattoos or anything like that, but
we're gonna have to
just been working a lot. I've been trying to finish. It's possible. I did say I'll say this before I finish. Suikoden has at this moment we know of that it's based off 27 true runes, and we know 18 of them. If we ever get to the 27, I have stated multiple times. There's receipts. I know people have saved them. I will get all 27 runes tattooed on me in some form or fashion somehow. I believe we've actually talked about this. We might have talked about this in the first or second episode. But I will get all 27 different rune symbol tattooed. I won't get all runes because obviously runes split off and become 3, 4, 5. It'd be too much. But I will get all 27 true runes tattooed on me. But besides that, I've been trying to finish a game called Fantasian Neo Dimension. Been playing on Xbox. I've been going back and trying to clean up my backlog. I wrote an article at the beginning of the year
say
about
that name
my
again. You cut out a little bit.
Fantasian Neo Dimension.
Okay.
It's a cool JRPG. I wrote an article at the beginning of the year about 2025 New Year's resolutions, and one of them was to finish games that I have. And I went through, finished Baldur's Gate, which we'll talk about a little bit later on today. I also finished one other game, and this game's a pretty long one. I have one other person on my friends list that's played it, and he has over 10 days in the game. I don't think I'll reach that amount of time. I'm not doing every possible side thing ever, but it's a fun game. Some personal stuff going on, but we're pushing through and ready for some Thicc Boi Hours.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, me, just like you over there, I also myself a tattoo. I am hard.
You're gonna have to put up a good picture of that one, dude. That doesn't do it justice.
Yeah, I have to put up a picture of it, but it is a Japanese traditional dragon, and I am gonna be getting a full sleeve of Japanese traditional, and I already have a appointment to get koi fish on the opposite side, so I'll be pretty filled out. But yeah, I think for the outside of giant projects happening at work and taking up all my other free time, it's about the newest thing. So work's gonna be kicking my ass for the foreseeable future. But
oh yeah,
people leaving and having to cover more space, and it's just a bunch of politics and bullshit that I don't like to deal with. Plus giant jobs that I actually cannot talk about. I found out that yesterday. In like a legal way, I'm not allowed to talk about them.
Damn.
So, yeah.
So he's already said too much.
No. That's about as much as I can say. If I go in any deeper, then I don't know. Maybe the fucking FBI show up. We got him, boys. No.
Skaggs is an NDA guy now. Welcome to the club.
Well, it's not my first time. I did a job down in Atlanta for. I'm pretty positive that the NDA is already done because the place has been existing for almost a decade at this point. But it was for Google, and it was an NDA place as well because whenever we were in there, you got to see some of the finished like area around, so they didn't want you to like taking pictures or like pretty much being an inside informant. So, which there was a guy.
Makes sense.
There was a guy in my orientation that was asking a lot of questions that might get you thrown off a fucking job site like that. And so my Amazon fuck up of the week or the month at least. I was searching for one of my little nephew's birthday presents, and which by the way I found him some cool stuff that's Pokemon, and it like instead of it being Legos, it's like power blocks or something. And they're kind of interactive with each other, which is cool. But it has a stripper pole on it, and so you can put Squirtle up on a stripper pole and swing him around.
What? Why would they make that?
I don't. So in the scenery, it's almost like he's supposed. I don't know what they're supposed to be trying to do in the scenery, if we're being completely honest. But the way they made it, it's just like a gray rod that comes up, and you can attach the Pokemon to it, and there's like a little handle that you can spin to like rotate it. Because there's also another thing that rotates with it that's like a water spout that you can hook the Pokemon to, like a fish. But yeah, no, on the packaging, it just has like Squirtle doing his best Pink Pony Club impersonation. But while I was looking for that, I came started looking up like swords and shit, and then I seen like little mini figurine keychains for like games and for like weapons and shit that we can use in games. I was like, okay. I came across like the mystical sword from Elden Ring, which I did really like the mystical sword, but I wanted to see if they had my favorite weapon that I was using in that game, which was the Bloodhound's great sword. And I seen it and it was like keychain for this. Well, I got it.
Holy moly!
And this fucker is huge. This is not a keychain.
You could not put that on your keys.
No, it would probably rip out the fucking ignition in my car. But so to save it, I removed the keychain part of it.
Mm-hmm.
My girlfriend bought me a niffler a while back, so I'm about to sew the greatsword to the niffler. And homie will have his own sword.
There you go. Is it supposed to be like a letter opener then?
No, because it's not even like sharp like that. Like it's got kind of like a point, but it's a point from like it's the at the very tip, like where they just stop shaping it. So it's kind of got like that metal finish like edge to it. So like there's that to it, but no, it's blunt as hell. I wouldn't use it for a letter opener. So yeah, now I just got what did he call it in the Castlevania? I got a long knife.
A long knife, yeah.
A long knife versus short sword. The fuck is the difference? But yeah, so I thought that was kind of funny because I was like, yeah, no, I get my keychain came in, and then she handed me a box, and the box was like this long. I was like, why'd they waste so much of a box on such a little? It's not little at all. He's pretty big. I mean, too big if you ask me. Nobody needs that much.
Yeah, that's a ridiculously large sword.
But so what all do you got going on, Chris? What do you want to talk about first? I know you said you got a few things that you wanted to talk about.
Well, let's kick it off with we were talking about trading cards when you started surprise recording us, so we will continue on the trading card train, so to speak.
It was good conversation. I couldn't pass it up.
So recently I watch a lot of YouTube, whether it be video game news, stuff about trading card games, a whole bunch of plethora of different things. And I came across, I forget who I came across first. It might have been MTG Goldfish, maybe. But I came across somebody. Recently, there was a Pokemon deal, and it was a sizable, like quite a few $1,000 deal of Pokemon. This one guy had contacted this card shop, and I forget like what the exact amount of money was. I'd say probably 10,000 or more. Like it was, I'd say it's sizable.
Big
purchase. I can't remember the exact amount, but a big purchase. Well, come to find out that the seller, the store owner, ended up finding out that this guy had bought this sizable purchase with fake money.
Oh,
and
Monopoly money.
So it was printed money, but
yeah.
When the seller found out, he obviously contacted the police, and they hatched a plan to catch the guy. Tell me why the same buyer with the fake money came back to the same card shop business establishment again and attempted to buy more product with more fake money. Obviously, there was a sting set up. The guy got caught. Luckily, the shop owner got his product back, and they actually end up helping another person that had been duped by this same guy, and they got their product back. So I'm interested on What do you think about this after I tell you this story?
I'm not surprised. Not at all.
Nope.
No.
I think
Are you?
the Pokemon craze is hitting this kind of ridiculous. I mean, ridiculous isn't even a strong enough word, but the peak at where we're at right now, which I
It's
don't even really think is
depressing.
the peak. It is still continuing an incline here of people being absolutely ridiculous over Pokemon cards. There is so much scalping, physical fights, people actually harming each other. I mean, people going out of their way to potentially get caught for making fake money just to buy Pokemon cards. I mean, it's getting out of hand the way that collecting is go and truthfully I know it's not collecting. People that are collectors, that's not the people that are going in and doing all this kind of crazy stuff. It's the people who see dollar signs
The
and are
scalpers.
they're trying to capitalize on the Pokemon hype and make a bunch of money. They don't truthfully care about Pokemon. That's the sad part.
Yeah, it's depressing. And that actually I'm glad that you brought that up because me and Q actually went to a Pokemon like convention type deal a couple weekends ago.
It was
And
just vendors and things,
yeah,
selling.
and my god, if it wasn't just like you could tell that like the people that were there weren't the people that were just there to like enjoy or like collect Pokemon. Like you had people there that are just trying to wheel and deal and do these giant fucking deals, and it made it pretty much almost impossible to get a hold of any of the vendors to be like, hey, can I just pick up this Groudon that I like because I want it to go in my binder because I like Groudon. It I think we might have seen what, like a dozen kids there.
Yeah, there wasn't. Yeah,
It was almost no kids there, and most of the kid, I think almost all of the kids that we even seen, like me and Q paid like $10 for us to get in, or like an hour early. I'm just hunting down a Crystal Nidoking from Aquapolis. That's why I went there. I want to get my Nidoking. It's the last thing that I need to finish out my Nidoking collection, and I'll be good. But uh, all those kids were sitting back and waiting for the actual open time, and here was all these people in here just grabbing up everything they possibly could. And
we're lucky that we paid the extra. What was it, $10 a piece to get in early?
yeah,
We're lucky we paid that because it was already unbearably packed
oh
to
yeah,
get in early. And then when they opened up at 10, we had to leave. I mean, you literally couldn't walk around. It was so packed, and it was not people. I mean, we've all been to Magic the Gathering conventions and things, and usually they're playing tournaments and there's vendors there that are selling cards, so you can kind of walk around and see if there's anything that you want to buy. And this was solely like, here's the new set. We've got booster boxes of the past 3 that have come out. We've got all the new cards that are the chase cards that people want, and other than that, there's no, you can't walk up and be like, "Hey, do you have this cool old card that I'm looking for?" And it's like, "No, I wouldn't waste my time collecting cool old cards because everybody only wants uh Gigantamax Pikachu Rainbow Foil Edition." And that's cool. That's how Pokemon people want to collect cards. That's fine, but it just feels more like like people playing the stock market than it does like a community of trading card collectors.
Yeah,
And I don't even think. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it. It was kind of sad to go through and see that like there were very little like older cards, very little like you had your starters, your Johto starters, your Anto starters, but that was about it. Like that were around that and Gengars because everybody wants what Sabrina's Gengar. And so that's what they were trying to sell was that, and I don't know, it just wasn't very fun.
Yeah.
I I have seen someone posted something the other day. Anybody that knows my history of decks that I love in Magic, one of my favorite decks is the archetype is Prison, and someone had posted like an image of 4 different cards. One was Budu, which is kind of a prisony card. It prevents you guys from using certain cards on your turn or whatever. I forget exactly what card specifically, and then it had like haunters and this other stuff that keeps damage, like puts damage counters when you evolve or something. So like essentially, it's kind of like locking you guys down or whatever. But I did see some new cards like that, and that's being talked about quite a bit. But you mentioned something like no one really wants old cards, and I'll give you this guy's social media at some point, and you could post it when you edit this later, Skags. But there's this one specific vendor, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But like I said, I'll give it to you, and you could post it later in the video.
Mm-hmm.
But he specifically has, like, obviously, I'm sure he has new stuff too.
Yeah.
But like, he specifically has multiple binders to where it's filled with whatever. Even people bring him some cards because this guy specifically will give cards out to the younger population of
Oh,
Pokemon collectors,
I
players,
know who you're
etc.
talking about. You go ahead.
Yeah, I definitely think it'd be cool to put his social media up in here or TikTok or whatever you prefer. But he gives out old stuff, new stuff. Somebody walks up, hey, I would. What's your favorite Pokemon? They're like Sudowoodo from blah 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 blah. And no one's saying Sudowoodo, but you
Some
get
people.
the gist. Somebody names. Well, granted, I love using Sudowoodo in the Pokemon games, but some random obscure Pokemon, and usually he has it. And give people um, he'll give the people a card for free. Usually, a young kid walks up with their parents and they try to work out a deal. They got like some slab of whatever, and they're like, "Hey, I really like this, Espeon or whatever." And he tries to work out. So he's a really good vendor, and I really like that guy. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Is
it's
his
kind
name
of crazy.
Yes. Yes.
something Coop? Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Because
I
there's
think
But
I
actually
think that's him.
there's actually some drama with him right now.
Oh
And
yeah?
I did not know that.
yeah. So he he tried to get into one of the Pokemon events and they pretty much told him no. Like he couldn't get like a social media like pass or like creator pass, that's what it is. And everybody was pissed off at the Pokemon company because they wouldn't give him a creator pass, and he's probably one of the, if not the most like uplifting, like kind content creators out there, especially for like Pokemon. And like right now is whenever you really should be like
Yeah.
pushing those types of people forward instead of like the scalpers and the people who are always trying to just beat up some little kid's parent so that way he can get some Pokemon cards. But
Yeah.
yeah, they didn't want to give him any any sort of like pass or anything for, I want to say it was like Worlds. Like he put in a request to get that for like Worlds, and they
Yeah.
said nope. Oh, not today, buddy.
It's strange though.
That's kind of crazy.
I feel like all of these big companies, they definitely love that we purchase the Magic cards and the Pokemon cards and the everything else. But I think they have to have a safe level of like when there's a secondary market that they're not a part of and they're not making any money off of. Yes, you can be happy that people love the cards and they love your game and they want to keep collecting and everything. But you can't be, I don't know, maybe they feel like it'd be a bad look to, you know, because it doesn't sound like they necessarily were like, no, we're not giving you this pass because we think you're a bad guy. It was just like a no, that's not what we're gonna do kind of thing. And I don't know. It's always been a topic that I've wanted to ask somebody who's like in that scene about is how do the big companies truthfully look at you when you are a secondary market kind of guy?
And that's what
Kind of.
that's what everybody was talking about, was that like because he messes with the secondary market is why they don't like him, because they don't like the secondary market. And you know, okay, if you want to do that, that's perfectly fine. But some of the content creators that they do give that access to, like, do the stuff that they absolutely hate. Like, they play emulators and like other shit on their live streams, and Nintendo and Game Freak are notorious for not letting that slide. There was actually somebody recently that evidently ended up getting banned because she was buying every Emerald cartridge that she could come across in hopes of finding one that had the event for the Mew on it.
Yeah.
And you could only catch Mew on this game cartridge if you were there for this event. And so she was just trying to get that event. Well, evidently it was like a hacked, like third party made, very well made cartridge that she got, and she didn't know it. And somebody just happened to realize that there was something off in like the gameplay, and so they said something or another, and it somehow got back to like Nintendo and Game Freak. She did not do this on purpose. She did it by complete accident, and Nintendo like threw out a strike and everything. Didn't throw out a strike. The corporate way of threatening to strike it was like
cease and desist.
Not even like that, from what I understand. Like, they just messaged them and told them that they needed to take it down. They needed to take it down before further action needed to be taken, because the cartridge was not like one of their cartridges. It ended up being something that was hacked. And you know what? It is what it is. But why let people that obviously, like, you hate emulators, you hate hacks, you hate everything like that, why not let the most jovial of people, don't let them even make up do like a pop-up vendor thing. Don't do that. Just let him be there. That would be perfectly fine. Like, I would understand it if they told him, no, you can't be a vendor here, because what you do is you mess with the secondary market, and we don't like it. We don't like secondary market. But he was just going for a content creator's pass, was all that he was trying to do, and they gave him a no on it. And the dude has enough of a following. Like, I'm looking here, 266K on Facebook, and I think it was 800K on YouTube, 452K on Instagram. and more than likely, way more than that on TikTok. So I mean, he's got the social media following for it.
Yeah.
It just that's the only thing that I can think of is, like you said, is that it's because he does something with the secondary market and they're pissed off about that. They don't like it. So
it's funny that you brought up the story about him being denied access to Pokemon Worlds, because this last Yu-Gi-Oh! Worlds, similar stuff happened with a lot of the big people that do go to the Yu-Gi-Oh! YCSs and regionals and stuff that obviously pop up and sell cards, whatever. A lot of people got denied access, and only certain people were allowed to go to Worlds. I think even only competitors might have been able to go to Yu-Gi-Oh! Worlds, but I could be quoted or something and misquoted. But they also denied people, and to go to the length of using fake money when all this stuff is tracked. The stuff that different countries' governments can track, the type of intelligence and stuff that they use to know certain things, is pretty crazy. So if you're using fake money, I would be a betting man that you're probably going to get caught in some form or fashion.
well,
And Quentin had mentioned that the Pokemon craze, and I don't even think it's just the Pokemon craze. Like, obviously, 2020 card prices were supremely high during the pandemic and stuff because people had all the extra money from the stimulus checks and stuff.
it
But
still
like,
is, man.
yeah, even to this point, I specifically know of certain places that when they get a new stock of product of trading cards in general, we'll just say just overall trading cards in general, that there's people waiting in line that know when delivery drivers go to these places. And a lot of people don't realize is like if you go to your local Walmart, the Walmart company business, they're not the ones that supply these cards. These are outside people that bring their cards and sell them there. Obviously, they pay Walmart for store shelf, stuff like that. Walmart makes money off that. Then they sell their cards there. There's people that will track when delivery of this product will be at the store, and they'll be waiting there to get their hands on as much product as possible. There's some stores that even have a limit of 2 trading card things per person. And some stores, it's just like overall 2 trading card specific adjacent things, period. So like 1 Pokemon, 1 Yu-Gi-Oh, 1 Magic, 1 Yu-Gi-Oh, 2 Magic, or whatever. Then there's a lot of the places I will say though is like it's 2 Pokemon things because they tend to be what the people really fight over is Pokemon. But like there's a lot of store places where there's like trading card adjacent things is a limit of 2. Our Walmart, where we live, doesn't have that type of thing yet, but the majority of the time they're all sold out of everything anyway, so it doesn't even matter in the first place. But
Yep.
I just thought that was a funny story to bring up about someone spending fake money. And in addition to someone spending fake money, what's just as interesting as that is product being leaked early. And that caveats to Magic the Gathering recently had a leak. In June, there will be a Universes Beyond product, Final Fantasy. It will be a set releasing into Standard, so it will be legal for all formats that Standard cards are legal for. And we've seen like the 4 Commander decks. It's got Cloud from 7, Titus from 10, someone from 14, and whichever one Tara's from. I can't remember which one Tara's from, but whichever one she is from as well. They've spoiled some of the Commander decks. I've talked about it a couple times in articles, and I'm sure I'll talk about it again. But in Brazil, some distributor leaked product to card shops ahead of time. And this doesn't even release until June. We're currently recording this podcast. It is April 19th. This story is a week and a half, 2 weeks old, so almost the end of March. So April, May, June, almost 2.5, 3 months away. So it's kind of crazy that a distributor would, like, how do you end up getting this to a store that shouldn't have it in their possession? And then the distributor was contacted by Wizards of the Coast or whoever and threatened the distributor that they needed to get this product back, and there were penalties. So the distributor put it on the card shop, hey, you need to return this product unopened, undamaged, unharmed, or there will be penalties. What do you guys think about this?
I mean, whenever it comes to that, like, I kind of understand, like, they're trying to protect, like, their asset. And their asset is the Final Fantasy set, and keep it from getting out so early to where, like, it doesn't even matter, because more than likely in places like that, it they're gonna get it, and they're gonna try and sell them off, and they're probably going to scalp the shit out of, like, all the cards that they get. And I think it is kind of a thing to, like, protect the consumer in that, right? Because if you have the only cactar out of all these boxes, people are going to pay an obscene price, because they just have, for whatever reason, people just have the obsession now that they have to have the very first one, they have to have the only one, whatever, blah, 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 whenever it comes to TCG. And that's not how TCG should be. It shouldn't be that you have to have the first one, you have to have the only one, or anything like that. It's a trading card game. Like, there should be enough of whatever card that you can go and you can play it. Like, anybody can play it. I don't think that is the worst one. Like, the one that I didn't like was the March of the Machines one, where they sent the Pinkertons to some dude's house because Wizards of the Coast
They might have sent the Pinkertons to these people. Who knows?
But the thing is that it was because it was a WotC fuck up. It wasn't a card store doing it. If WotC
I don't even
fucks
think,
up,
but I would like to be clear real quick. I don't even think it was the fault of the card shop. Because the way it works is card shops have to put their orders in so far ahead of time. Mm-hmm. So, like, they could have, for example, they bought 2 cases, which is 6 booster boxes per case when it comes to Magic the Gathering. I don't know if it's the same for Universe Beyond products, but usual standard set, 6 boxes per case. I do believe. Well, I think it's more on the distributor's fault for giving it to the store early. I will say the store, as far as I know, the store had to open any of the product or anything like that, but, like, WotC gives this stuff to the distributor, so they build up supply or whatever, and then they're the ones that ship it. Usually pre-releases on a Friday, usually card shops a lot of the time get it the Wednesday or a couple days before that, or previous weekend before the pre-release. So, like, before you continue, I just want to say I'm in the boat that I don't think any fault falls on the card shop.
Okay, and that's fine.
If you want to talk about scalping prices, I think that is that's possible, but I feel that's more from the distributor part.
But I guess what I was getting at was that it sounds like the fault wasn't necessarily on WotC this time, like, why it ended up in the hands of somebody. But the March of the Machines one, it was WotC's fault, because he ordered a completely different set and then got this brand new set that hasn't been released yet, and decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to open them, and after I open it, I'm going to post pictures of it. And, you know,
that was sick.
If you mess up and send that product out to somebody, don't send the Pinkertons to them. That's messed up. But if you have a distributor that your distributor's messing up, and you want to send the Pinkertons to him, go ahead, do it. That's just quality control at that point. And it's not quality control to do that to some regular homie that wasn't even trying to obtained it by accident. And what's he gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, what's anybody gonna do whenever they get that? Because what you do is you get a hold of WotC and you're like, hey man, I got this brand new set. They're gonna be like, oh well, we'll just send you back your other one that you had that you tried to order, instead of give you any sort of incentive to not go through the hassle of sending it back, and uh, giving up the fact that you have all this brand new shit that isn't even released. Because I mean, I wouldn't do it. I'd keep my stuff. Be like, yeah, no, I'm gonna keep this March of the Machines
I
stuff.
probably would too.
Everybody
Especially Final
would.
Fantasy.
Everybody
Yeah.
would. I mean, listen, if you work with a big corporation like WotC and you mess up like that, you're gonna get some form of a punishment. It just is what it is. Hopefully, it's not Pinkerton showing up to your doorstep, because that actually sounds like a fucking frightening moment. Because it sounds like they show up in like all black suits, like they're the Men in Black, and they're like, "Hey, where's the cards?" And it's like, "I have a million of them. I have a million cards. What do you mean?"
Yeah. Imagine getting that shit all fucking put away in your binders and everything too. You have to sit there and just go through and pick out all.
Well, and more than likely, they won't even let you do it. They'll be like, "We have to do it." It's like, you know what? Absolutely not. Like,
Actually, no.
I would actually get out of my house.
Pinkertons probably don't even know. Pinkertons probably wouldn't even know what product was what product, to be honest.
I don't know. I imagine they do their homework on, and like they got a sheet there to scroll through and see what cards are available in the set, and anything that looks like that, they're just gonna take it, or anything that has like that set symbol, they're gonna take it. That's what I would imagine that.
And this isn't. And this could be like, I don't know if this was a Wizards of the Coast issue with giving it to developer this early or not. I don't know how early developer, talking video game talk. I don't know if it was the distributor's fault or Wizards of the Coast of what happened, whether they sent it too early or not. But I will say I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter, Blue Sky, social media in general with MTG Arena, which is one of the digital clients for Magic the Gathering. They have tournaments periodically. And I forget, it's like 5,000 or 10,000 gold to enter these tournaments, whatever the entry fee is. And then if you win, I think it is like the 8 matches for this specific event, you're supposed to get a booster box of certain whatever. I believe it's standard set usually. So like right now it'd be Tarkir Dragonstorm. There's an event coming up or happening right now where you win a collector's box of Tarkir Dragonstorm. So we're talking about, Pinkertons and WotC sending stuff out early with March of the Machines, and then this issue. There's people, pro players, content creators I talk to all the time that they're waiting on WotC to send them product for events that they won in November. So
on
for
Arena?
them to not, for them to not have issues is for them to have issues is not surprising to me.
No,
Well,
no.
I do want to mention.
It just goes to show that
Go ahead.
you've got people. They're very much worried about making their money, so they print.
Oh yeah.
What is it now? 20 different sets a year or some kind of crazy number like that. I mean,
I think it's like eight different Magic products a year. I think is what it is.
okay, so not quite 20, but still eight compared to what it used to be. So I imagine they're printing
Actually, it might be more than 8. So
yeah.
I
know
for sure it's at least 8.
It's almost every month is a new release. It feels like, so I wouldn't be. I feel like I wouldn't be too far off by saying like 12 to 15.
Yeah, but that's constant, nonstop printing, which means they probably are printing. I mean, very clearly, the entirety of Final Fantasy is done month at least months before it's time to get released. And so they're probably running out of warehouse space and they're running out of places to keep products. So they're getting more lenient on, well, we'll send this product to you. If you have room for it, we can send it to you 2 months early, 3 months early, 4 months early, because we're pumping out so much product every single day
I
that it ends up just being, that stuff like this is going to start happening more unless Wizards of the Coast can kind of rein in exactly what they or start having. You're going to have dedicated space to keep all of this new product.
Yeah, they're gonna have to invest in
Yeah.
more warehouse space.
I have pulled up. This is stuff that is confirmed for 2025 specifically. They had on. They had Innistrad Remaster. This is just what I found on Star City Games website, so there could be stuff not added. But they have Innistrad Remastered came out January 24th. That was a remastered set of legendary different cards from Innistrad, stuff like that. Aether Drift was the first standard set of the year, which was February 14th. Tarkir Dragonstorm, which we talked about last show, felt like the first actual Magic set in a long time. But that's the next standard set that came out recently. Final Fantasy's supposed to come out June 13th. Edge of Eternities. I do believe that's another standard set coming out August 1st. Universes Beyond Spider-Man. They have a date set here for September 26th. I don't know if that's 100% confirmed. And Avatar The Last Airbender for November 21st. And that is just confirmed products. We know it's coming. That doesn't include any special like Commander products or anything else that might be sprinkled in. More secret layers. There's always secret layers coming out, stuff like that. It's a lot. And thinking about it after you said that, Q, I feel like at least last year for sure, and I'm obviously way super deep in the Magic the Gathering sauce. That's exactly how I'll put it. I feel like there'll be spoiler season. We'll be like, oh yeah, this badass card, this card, this card. Oh yeah, start brewing. And then after that, preview season's over, the set release. A week later, preview season for the next set.
Exactly.
And it does get kind of crazy that there is so much product, but, and obviously I'm just hopeful. A lot of the people that are starting to work for Wizards of the Coast or with Magic, I feel have the betterment of Magic at the forefront of their mindset when they go into this. Like, a lot of the play design people, I know they get a lot of flack for certain cards getting out, like Nadu, the Winged Wisdom, Oko, stuff like that. But I have a feeling that a lot of the people, because there's more people that are Pro Tour grinders, Magic players, that have always been Magic players first, are starting to get these jobs at play design, WotC. One of my favorite commentators of all time for Magic, Cedric Phillips.
Cedric
You
the
all
Entertainer?
would catch him a lot of time. No, not Cedric the Entertainer. You catch him commentating a lot with his good buddy Patrick Sullivan. But he just got I can't remember the exact position within WotC, but he got a really good position. Hall of Famer Willie Huey Jensen has been on, I don't know the exact title, but he's the one that is the forefront of like the tournament play, stuff like that. And he kind of fixed, the tournament scene's been getting better and better and better with what they're offering. Like it goes from when they try to have it just be an esport. They've brought back the Pro Tours. They don't have Grand Prix or whatever specifically, but they have like the Magic Spotlight Series where you can show up one weekend, you get off every so often. You can show up, you could spike a Spotlight Series and get onto the Pro Tour this way. It's kind of like, spiking a Grand Prix or whatever, and like the regional championships, getting invites, all this other stuff. The point system is really good. So I do feel like the future of Magic is bright. Whereas over the past few years from like, I don't know exact dates, like War of the Spark, and I'm just guessing. Like I like the War of the Spark set too, but like from War of the Spark forward, I feel like there's been kind of like bad moments per se. Like obviously the pandemic didn't help, completely eliminating organized play and all this stuff. But I feel Magic's on the rise, and like I said, I trust the people that are getting these positions. Like I said, a lot of them pro players. Cedric, you got me saying Cedric the Entertainer. Damn it, Cedric Phillips, former person that ran Coalesce Apparel, former Big Star City Games employee, one of the best announcers all time for Magic. He works there. Carmen, I can't remember her last name. I think it's Carmen Comparens. Paul Cheon even worked there for a while. I don't know if he still does or not. Jadine Comparens, Michael Majors. Gavin Verhey is one of the best, I'll say big company in air quotes, employees ever. He talks to people. He's the one that usually utilizes the mystery booster draft at the big Magic cons, all the stuff. He's the one leading the charge with having the commander specific group in regards to the way the commander ban list is going to work moving forward. I forget exactly what the group is called specifically, but like there's a lot of good people, and I'm confident for the future of Magic. Anything else for that thing before we move on?
One thing else. I got a couple things. I do love Cedric. Cedric's
Oh, yeah.
fucking awesome. But I mean, at the same time, I think they can only do so much without WotC being like sounds cool, but we don't feel like putting any resources to what you're saying. Like they can, because our is like the Pro Tour and everything still like ran by WotC. Or is it
I
another
believe
entity?
technically yes. I believe technically yes, but like a lot of the coverage and stuff that you would see is not run by WotC as
So
far as I know. Like Ultimate Guard runs a lot of the coverage specific stuff. Like they were the ones that there was a big, what was the event? I can't remember the big event, but they did like a big actual vintage cube draft, real cards, real power. The people that won tournaments on Magic Online that qualified, they got to keep the cards that they opened. So that was an Ultimate Guard adjacent thing. WotC's obviously still, I think, like I would say probably overall in control, but like all the coverage and stuff, I believe is delegated elsewhere. I believe because the guy that gets these tournaments set up and stuff like that, they all work for WotC. So I just assume it's overall Wizard of the Coast is like the overlord, and then everybody else just kind of like runs the event specific stuff.
well, the reason why I bring that up is because I mean, WotC did try and kill like paper magic and shit like that. So, I mean, all they got to do is see like a nice uptick in like arena to where people are playing it more or whatever for them to get the idea that they need to kill that again. That was kind of my thought was that, and it doesn't. I don't know. Having WotC in power does not give me the warm and fuzzies about it because I just don't trust them. And that,
Yeah, no, I never trust any big corporations, but I trust the smaller people to try to push, try to fight back. Specifically, those people within the big corporations. Like I love Xbox, I love PlayStation, I love Nintendo, I love MetaQuest, but I don't trust Microsoft. I don't trust Sony. I don't trust Nintendo Corporation. Definitely don't trust Facebook. So I get what you're saying there.
yeah, and I absolutely do not trust fucking uh Nintendo. Nintendo is like the least trustworthy, I feel like, of a lot of them. But yeah, no, that was kind of my only thing was that if WotC's still in the mix, I don't have high hope. And I
Yeah,
feel
WotC's always going to be in the mix because they own everything. So I'm not super surprised, like we talked about the Pinkerton stuff like that. I'm not super surprised, like they ordered the distributor to get the product back because I'm sure WotC paid a pretty penny for Final Fantasy IP for the crossover. I'm sure WotC paid a pretty penny for Lord of the Rings, all the stuff they're doing with Marvel. I don't think they had to pay very much. Well, I'm not going to. My very much and other people's very much, two totally different things when I say it. Because WotC's very much, I probably couldn't afford that regardless, but like, I think the least valuable, and it's still valuable, and I love the IP. Like, they probably didn't have to pay nearly as much for Avatar: The Last Airbender IP, which is later on this year, versus like a Final Fantasy, a Fallout, Marvel, Lord of the Rings, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, more than likely they didn't have to spend all that much money for that IP just because it's been so long since Avatar's been like in the mainstream of any.
It's coming back. It's coming back.
It is.
And not just
Not
because
only in season 2, but they are, I believe this is the final one they're going to do, but they do have a new anime cartoon, however you want to refer to Avatar: The Last Airbender, but they do have another Avatar coming, and it's going to be Earthbender.
Ooh.
I believe that I don't know exactly how it's going to work because I'm pretty sure the Earthbender is actually a twin or something like that. I will do more research and we will talk about this on a future podcast or whatever. But yeah, they are doing another one, cartoon anime, however you want to refer to it as. But obviously, the next Avatar and the Avatar succession would be Earthbender, and it'll be very interesting to see what they do. Obviously, IP go back and retcon stuff all the time, but for the people that don't know a lot about the Avatar franchise specifically, I'll just mention this real quick before we move on. Avatars, usually when they come into being, find out they're the next Avatar, save the world, all that good stuff, help people. A lot of the times, except with Avatar of Korra that we know of specifically because we got that access to that cartoon, but like Aang specifically, Avatar: The Last Airbender, he got a lot of insight and knowledge and know-how from being able to contact previous avatars, Avatar Roku, Avatar Kyoshi, etc., etc., etc. And there's years, centuries and centuries and centuries of avatars, all the way down to the first Avatar, which is Avatar 1. And, well, at the end of, near the end of Avatar of Korra, like, I'm spoiling it, so, but cartoon's been out for years, get over it. At the end of Avatar of Korra, there is a fight between the spirit of Rava, which is what gives the Avatar their power, and the dark spirit. I can't remember. Korra's uncle is trying to become an Avatar as well. These spirits fight, and every time Avatar Rava was taking damage from this dark spirit, you see this image of like an Avatar being eliminated from past life. Boom. Aang, boom, Avatar Roku, boom, Avatar Kyoshi. You just see that it looks like they're being just erased from history, and it did that all the way to Avatar 1. So at the end of Avatar Korra, before she walks off into the end of the series or whatever, it makes it seem like all previous avatars have been erased from history. So when this Earthbender avatar comes into existence, and they set this up, I don't know how they're going to set it up with, if she needs help becoming an avatar, the only person she could talk to technically is Korra, and a lot of people don't like Korra for multiple reasons. The reasons that tends to be the general consensus. That's not why I don't like Korra. I don't like Korra because I don't think they should have erased all the avatars. So it'll be interesting to find out if they retcon something, or if just how they work it out.
Yeah.
Before we got to the Avatar stuff, I mentioned Lord of the Rings being a set for Magic the Gathering in the past that they cross over with. So speaking of stuff from that era, we're going to jump to what used to be an Xbox exclusive. We're going to talk about. Do you guys remember Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion?
Yeah.
Never played it, but yeah.
Did you guys? So Skaggs never played. Did you ever play Oblivion, Quentin?
Not to the extent that it means that I played it. I played it a little bit.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, there's been a lot of leaks, and it has been for some time. I don't know if I've been on record saying from my sources or anything like that, but um, I've seen personal leaks as well that there's been a remaster in the works for quite some time now, and it's been talked about. People that know a lot more than I do um, have said it's real, and these are people that I trust when they leak this type of information. And as recently as this past week, there was screenshots that leaked online of comparison photos, I believe, of obviously old Oblivion versus this Oblivion, and then even, I guess since we wrote a story about it, I will mention it. But Lord Cognito, one of the Iron Lords for the Iron Lords podcast, also CEO of lordsofgaming.net, where I write all my articles. Someone I'm very close with. He also recently talked on Defining Duke, which is one of the podcasts he's on. Go check that out if you're interested in that. But he had even said that he has seen that all DLC will be included with Oblivion. So since he is confirming it, and other people I trust are confirming it, I believe this leak to be real. And I think that I have also seen that it'll be shadow drops. So, like, what that means for people who don't know what shadow drop is, like, they'll say, "Oh, bam, we've been working on this game, and then you can play it today on Game Pass, on PlayStation, or whatever IP is being shadow dropped or whatever." So, you guys said you never really played it. Would you think that you would jump into it now, per se? Because a lot of people feel Oblivion is probably one of um, the greatest games of all time. I don't remember if I include it in my top 100 or not, but a lot of people say it's one of the greatest video games of all time. Potentially helped uh, change the open world RPG style game for the better, and I know it helped catapult Bethesda specifically to more heights, more games. Obviously, we've had stuff since then. Skyrim's very popular. The Fallout games specifically. So, what do you guys think about this Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion leak? And are you guys going to jump into it at some point if it is real?
I had a lot of fun with Skyrim.
Yeah.
I
Same.
played a lot of Skyrim. So I could see myself giving it a shot. My problem with remakes is, and this is more a me problem than the overall like video game world, because I know some people, they will play their favorite games no matter what, no matter where, no matter how many times they have to buy it, and just play the same game over and over and over. And I'm very, very bad about, I will play a game and play a lot of it, and once I've beaten it and I get to maybe even just some arbitrary goal that I set for myself in the game, I can kind of leave it and maybe come back to it eventually, but I'll never play a game as hard as the first time that I played it, you know? And Oblivion to me was one of those games that couldn't really, it didn't catch me the same way that Skyrim did, even though, you know, it's not really a fair comparison because Oblivion's older. But just I think I could give it a shot, but I don't know that I would really play it and be able to be like, yes, this is one of the greatest games. I can see how this shaped the world, because I already know how it shaped the world, you know. I'm playing
Yeah.
games today that are running because they took the time to make Oblivion and made it so well that it kind of catapulted games into the future.
I mean, people are still competing with Skyrim. I mean, Skyrim is notorious for being the most like launched game ever. Like it's had so many different releases. Like it, I guess that should be more what I say is like it's the most released game because they're always releasing like a different version of Skyrim. Skyrim on Switch, Skyrim here, Skyrim there, Skyrim on your toilet, whatever.
Skyrim VR.
Yeah,
Skyrim on the smart fridge.
yeah. That's coming. It will.
Yep.
It will happen. But that's what I played a lot of Skyrim, and so I think I would give it a shot. I'm a lot like Q whenever it comes to playing games. Like I want to get to like a certain point. Like I have a goal. And like I'm always wanting to finish the game, but it's kind of like I run out of steam once I get to the goal that I've set myself. Like I want this certain weapon. Okay. Well, I try my hardest to get to the weapon. If it's not at the very end of the game, then I kind of lose steam once I get like my weapon and my armor set, and like I get my dude like how I want him. And I don't know why. It's just a weird thing that I just lose interest after doing that a lot of times, and I gotta like force myself to like, okay, well you're still going to go ahead and finish this out because I don't know how many times I've played Skyrim, but I like I don't know what the ending of Skyrim is actually. I've never gotten to the end of
That's kind of crazy.
well, I would go around and do like everything else on it.
Yeah.
Like that. Okay, I didn't even play it on PC, but I want to say I had like 60, 80 hours into Skyrim in total because I hopped back into Skyrim after they had released like their DLCs and stuff like that. And so I started exploring the DLCs and I just got enthralled going through and looking at all the other stuff, and there it went. I went around, found everything that I thought that I could find, and ended up dropping it. Cause the same kind of happened with Elden Ring for me. Like my little brother has beat Elden Ring probably 6 times, and he'll always talk shit to me because I've never actually beaten Elden Ring. But I'm like 3 fights away from beating it. I just lost interest one day for whatever reason. I mean, now that game I did play on PC, so I can look that up. Yeah, I got 83 hours into it.
You gotta get those numbers up, dude.
I explored every little crevasse that I could find, every little hole in the ground, and done everything to get like what I wanted and play around with what I wanted. And then I just kind of was like, nah, I want to play something else now. So I would find something else and play something else. That's just how it went. But
so you guys right now are pretty high on Monster Hunter specifically. You guys said that when you play a game, you kind of set goals. Once you reach those goals, you kind of would have to force yourself to continue to play.
Yep.
It's like, but I don't know if you started recording before we had talked about this, but we were talking about how Q has something in Monster Hunter, like just memorized, so he could do it in his sleep or whatever. Like,
yep.
Is there a goal in Monster Hunter specifically, that once you reach that goal, you're kind of going to drop Monster Hunter or would have to force yourself to continue to play?
So there's a slight difference with Monster Hunter, at least to me, in that I get to play with my friends. Like we just got a friend that just did get Monster Hunter, which I've missed the past 3 days playing with him, so I don't know how far he's gotten. But
He's surpassed you, dude.
No, he's not.
No.
He ain't that good. But like later today, I'm probably gonna play with him and thing. But being able to play with friends and stuff like that, like that's something that Skyrim never really had. It never had. So Elden Ring, I don't understand how the multiplayer or anything like that works in Elden Ring. I don't know if it's like mods that I've seen people being able to play with each other, but I don't know. The multiplayer aspect of it keeps me there a little bit more. Plus, it's also a game that gets updated like every Tuesday, so you get a little bit of a hit to like go back for the day or something to complete a mission to get an armor layer that you can have a frog bird still on top of your head.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first mission that I do is I get my frog bird or whatever layered armor and I'll go on.
Yep. My arbitrary goal for Monster Hunter is 1, build all the gun lances, which I have already completed all the gun lances that are out so far. Because as they add new monsters, they end up adding new weapons and things. So as new monsters come, that will, continue that goal. But also to get all of the high rank armor. And currently I'd have to pull it up to know exactly, but I think I have 20 or so sets left to complete, and all of those I probably have some pieces of each of them, so it's not like 20 full sets to complete. But
and there's another goal like I have is to do the Mac, like you hunt a monster so many times in Monster Hunter and you get titles for it. I want to get all the titles for all the monsters.
mm-hmm.
So like the flagship monster, I almost have all the titles. I think I still need like maybe 5 more Arkveld fights. But I'm gonna try and get all the titles that I can there. And then hopefully within that, doing that, I also get close to completing my crowns. Which your crowns are the smallest and the biggest for the monster that you can get. So
Monster Hunter has made it very. They know their audience, and I think their audience is people like us, where it's like we are easily distracted and can fall out of a game very quickly, so you better give us. There's in-game. I think we've talked about this a million times now, but there's monsters or creatures that you can catch and collect the creatures. You want to hunt the biggest monster, you want to hunt the smallest monster. You want to try to get all of the weapons. You want to get all of your weapons upgraded and all of your armors upgraded fully. You want to have cool armor. You want to look cool. You want to get all of the little trinkets that hang off of your sacrets when you're running around, and different armors for them. So there's definitely a lot to keep you.
And if you're, because like I'm not like you, I don't want to make all the armor. I don't want to make all the weapons, but I want to hunt the monsters.
Yeah.
I want to hunt the monsters with the things that I like, and I can do that. And I don't know, it's got enough in it to do.
Yeah.
For me. But
the Elden Ring multiplayer, the way that works real quick.
Oh yeah.
You can get summoned to another player's world. There's a way to do it. I forget exactly. It's not mods. You can play with each other, join each other's worlds, PvP, stuff like that. I have not played Elden Ring yet. One of my New Year's resolutions was to play a Souls-like game, and the game I chose was Elden Ring, so I plan to play and beat it sometime this year.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you for bringing up Monster Hunter, because that was going to lead me into my next topic. Swallow this shit.
He's eating.
She
What you got
brought
to
me
eat?
she brought me a breakfast sandwich. Got egg,
Dang,
cheese, and like some candied pepper bacon.
See if she'll bring me a breakfast sandwich too.
Good luck trying to get her out of the house again. But in the roadmap for Monster Hunter, there is a collaboration that's going to be coming up soon. It's supposed to happen before the summer, so before Title Update 2, and I don't think it's got a specific date for it yet. But, and Chris, you know enough about like what Monster Hunter is to be able to throw in a theory or something fun. What collaboration do you think that they should do, or that you would like them to do? And then, like, what do you think is the most likely for them? Like, I think the most likely for them to do is Devil May Cry, because it's a Capcom title and the anime just released. But I would love for them to be able to do something like off the wall, like Warhammer 40K, bring us over a monster from there. Let us have like the Space Marine chainsaw. I think that would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, I mentioned it before, and I still think it's a possibility, is a quick cheeky 3-card like secret layer for Monster Hunter and Magic, and be able to bring a dragon over from Magic. Fight Nico.
That would be cool.
Fight fucking Nico. Yeah,
That
absolutely.
would be cool.
I will rock all of Nico's armor.
I know they did the Devil May Cry crossover in Worlds. There was a whole boss that you could fight that was like a giant demon. And then for fighting that demon, you could get different armor that to make yourself look like what's the main guy's name? Is it Dante?
Mm-hmm.
You could get armor set for him, and I believe a couple weapons, maybe the weapons he uses. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was Devil May Cry, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they didn't try to do something else, since they did that in Worlds.
What's in which I found out, by the way, they've done Devil May Cry in Worlds and Unite. I think it was
Unite as well.
Unite was only for your
Okay.
Palico, but
Okay.
they obviously are not afraid to do Devil May Cry twice.
Yeah.
But what would you like to see then? Or what do you think is more likely than Devil May Cry?
I don't know. I'm looking through some of Capcom's titles here to see if I mean, they have Dragon's
I have some
Dogma.
theories.
I don't know really a whole lot about the Dragon's Dogma games, but it sounds like there might be big dragons in there.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was actually thinking one of my choices was Dragon's Dogma 2. Phil Q mentioned it a second ago.
Yep. That's one that's been tossed around a
Yeah.
few. The one
They share a similar fantasy setting, which that style of setting or whatever. So that could lead to potential interesting weapon and armor designs, which could be based on obviously the game's characters and monsters. Onimusha. You guys know about Onimusha?
No.
It's also a Capcom title, but it has the ability. They have a lot of obviously Oni inspired weaponry and monster designs could be introduced into Monster Hunter.
Now,
I feel it fits that world too specifically.
yeah.
there are people that have said something about Dragon's Dogma, but they also say on the backside of that Dragon's Dogma is probably very unlikely. One, because I guess Capcom hasn't done anything with Dragon's Dogma. Like, they don't plan on doing updates or DLC or anything like that with it, I guess. And two, there's no like special looking weapons or armor in the game that are anything to set it apart from what we already have in Monster Hunter. So I mean, I'm not gonna be in a big hurry to do a special event to just get a random like sword that just looks like a normal long sword.
Yeah.
Because
I have a fun theory.
Mega
Just
Man.
from looking at these games. I think maybe it would be cool to do Resident Evil. Have the T virus
I was
be
going to say that
infecting
too.
different monsters. So you don't necessarily have to have a new monster, and then the cool armor that they could do is the oh man, what's his name? The trench coat guy that follows you around in
Wesker?
no, is it Nemesis? Is that his name? He's like the big zombie guy, and he just kind of walks behind you. He's got like the black, or maybe it is just a regular colored trench coat. I don't know. I haven't played Resident Evil enough.
Me either.
But he's just in a trench coat, and he has a big hat, and he's like a zombie guy, but intelligent enough to like, wander around and follow you. And that could be the armor set that you go for. Specifically go hunt monsters that are infected.
Well, so there's one that's sitting here that kind of interests me as well. Okami.
Yep.
Yep. Okami would be a really cool monster to fight. And it would be one of the ones that like we don't necessarily enjoy. It would probably be a fat, like an Odegaron. Like fast and like moves a lot, but an Okami monster would be fucking awesome. Because there's that one, and then like you could have your weapons that look like they're painted weapons. That would look really cool too, because it's in like a painted style.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm looking it up right now.
I also think there could be potential crossover with Street Fighter for potential costumes.
Yeah,
I could
different
see
types of moves or attacks. And why not? Because everybody else crosses over Final Fantasy for different costumes and stuff.
Yeah,
I would love a Final Fantasy one. It's funny that you guys go to the Capcom titles, because everybody's predicting that it's going to be an in-house collaboration.
Yeah.
So it will be a
Final Fantasy Square Enix.
Yeah. Is Square Enix part of Capcom? Or
No,
I wonder what
completely different company.
I was gonna say. But like Mega Man. Mega Man would be something kind of cool, I feel like. But I would love to have a Final Fantasy one where I can get like Sephiroth's insanely long sword. Get the Buster Blade from Cloud. I didn't even know that it had a name. It's just a fuck off longsword to me.
It does.
But
I'll see if I can pronounce it.
Sephiroth's long.
It's Masamune.
Oh, Masamune. Okay.
Masamune.
Okay. But either way, that crossover, regardless of the name of the sword, would be really cool.
Yeah.
I think that's really all the ones that like could possibly be I mean, there's Marvel versus Capcom. You think that they would be able to get like a Marvel, some Marvel hero?
I don't
or
think they have
whatever?
enough money.
Oh,
I
I don't
think
know. They
Capcom
just
has
got
enough money.
they just got a big shot in the arm. They might be looking to be big spenders, but that
when are
would
they saying that this is supposed to happen? This collaboration sometime this year or beginning of next year?
no. It's like soon. It drops before the next title update, and the next title update is in summer.
Okay, well, there's a lot of stirring about Resident Evil 9 is about to drop something very, very soon too.
The
Like
only
the next installment of Resident Evil.
thing I don't know about like Resident Evil is like what. I mean, I guess they don't have to give us a cool weapon, but like, what weapons would even pull out of their ass for that?
Guns.
I think it'd be more costume, like
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Wesker, since he's very popular, and then the lady that everybody wants to be stepped on by, Lady
Yeah.
Demetrius,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever her name is.
Lady D.
Yep.
She's got a complicated ass name.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, she has like a cool like glove, the claw hand. I mean, I know that's not really a Monster Hunter applicable weapon, but
I mean, could be
Hey,
dual blades.
you never know.
Hey, the one that none of us have said yet that would be the best one of the Capcom titles,
Dino Crisis.
Ace Attorney. You,
Yeah,
you get taken to the courtroom for all your war crimes against the environment because you've just been killing so many monsters.
Dude, the guild authorized us. We didn't do anything wrong.
We authorized ourselves on the last one.
That's true.
We get taken to court for killing Zoshia.
Yeah.
And the armor can be like a orange jumpsuit for like jail.
Yeah.
But yes,
Or you get
Dino Crisis was one that I was kind of looking at too. That would
But
be
the problem with all those games are like you said, weapon wise. You know, they have like guns and stuff like that. There's not really like a
yeah,
cool weapon.
the most you could do is like the outfit for like the
Yep.
girl. And which weirdly enough, almost it seems like everybody plays as like a female character. I don't know why.
On Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in New World, I think I kind of get it because your hitbox is actually smaller, but I don't think that fucking matters in Monster Hunter because everything's either a big explosion or a big sweep. I mean, it doesn't matter how big your hitbox is at that point.
If you want Chris Jones, you want Lord Chris, community manager, lordsgaming.net. If you want me in Monster Hunter, there's one 100% guaranteed way to bring me into the game. And it's not going to happen. But if it were, if you cross over with Suikoden, I'm there. The second that crossover releases, hitting that download button, I'll surpass Skaggs and Quentin in less than a month. The best of every Suikoden thing. I'm there. You got me sold. All you gotta do is talk Konami.
Yeah, right. We'll go in and we'll do the event real quick, get all the Suikoden stuff, and then we'll just join all of your hunts and just stand off to the side in all of our Suikoden glory. Just like, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll just emote while you fight the monsters.
Oh, but yeah, no,
Ban your IPs.
Oh no. But that was something that I thought was kind of cool that I'm very excited for because if they did Street Fighter, I would want a what's his name? It's not bull rag. But it starts with
Baraka?
no. That's Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah, that's Mortal Kombat.
But
Balrog, Blanca.
Blanca, yeah, I would want
Yeah.
a Blanca layered armor. I don't want to be Blanca. Be able to go around with like a thunder switch axe and just be shocking people.
I could see it.
Yeah. I actually I do have a commander deck with Blanca. Now. I haven't ever played it.
They had a Street Fighter crossover. Now you missed it. A Street Fighter crossover, Fortnite crossover.
SpongeBob.
Pretty soon there'll be a crossover with every IP. SpongeBob, yeah, recently SpongeBob crossover.
Yeah.
You know, who knows, man? Maybe Monster Hunter crossover.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I was trying to say. Was like it's nothing for them to do like a 3 or 4 card secret layer drop. So why not do like a Rathalos or something and make it like a Balefire Dragon? Or do Rathalos and Rathian and their Ugin and Nico. That would be perfect. Actually. And it would go off of the hype of the Dragonstorm set. Because it's all dragons. So everybody's obsessed with dragons. I was born into the dragons though.
I'll be right back. Give me a second.
Yep.
She got the packs. He's got to go get them.
Yes.
But I don't. What is one collaboration that you would love, like your dream collaboration for Monster Hunter outside of Capcom? Because now that I say it, I think Magic would be mine to have like Ugin and Nico. Be able to like cosplay Zurgo. My boy Zurgo and Monster Hunter would be really cool.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
I'm trying to think of something that has like cool weapons, cool armor, and also like things that you would want to fight, you know.
Star Wars. You get a crate.
I mean,
crate dragon to
a
fight.
crate dragon, a lightsaber,
blasters,
and then some like cool armor. I mean, you have all the Sith armor you could go with. You have
Tulak Horde armor.
Tulak Horde's fucking armor with. Oh shit,
dude!
That would be it. There's so many cool things you could fight in Star Wars too.
The sad part is that Tulak Horde doesn't fucking exist thanks to Disney anymore.
That's true.
But
speaking of Star Wars, I am 36 years old, and I had seen clips, fights. I've watched bits and pieces. I had never watched the whole Star Wars movie until last year. I think it was maybe it was like not last year, but like that December, January area or whatever. I watched all 6 Star Wars movies back to back in one weekend had watched all the Star Wars movies.
Hell yeah. What'd you think?
Anakin Skywalker is my least favorite character.
You and my girlfriend would agree.
I liked the foreshadowing. There's a scene where I like small stuff when it comes to movies, video games, stuff like that are indicative to the story. And I don't know if anybody else noticed. I'm sure people have. But after Anakin Skywalker goes and kills the Raiders or the people that killed his mother, he is hugging Padme in front of, I believe, his mom's house. And the silhouette of the shadow that you see on the house is Darth Vader.
Yep.
I don't know if everybody else has noticed that, but I thought that was excellent foreshadowing. Um, I can't think of his name, the little alien guy that gets a lot of hate that nobody likes.
Jar Jar Binks.
Yes. Jar Jar Binks is awesome.
Yes.
I would also want a purple lightsaber.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I actually, while we're on Star Wars topic, I wrote an article last year about my theory of if Qui-Gon Jinn did not die, could he have prevented Anakin Skywalker from joining the dark side and becoming Darth Vader? I don't know if you guys ever read that one.
I did, because that's
Do you
actually
remember
a
that
theory
article?
that I do believe in. Because Qui-Gon was somebody who was a gray Jedi that could lean on either side of it and be perfectly fine, just like Mace Windu.
I love
And
Qui-Gon. I love
I
Mace.
give me Liam Neeson
when I
back.
wrote that, I had decided that it was going to be like I started doing these theory articles, and I have other stuff for other movie stuff cooking. I kind of want them to be a surprise whenever I figure out which ones I'm doing. But like I thought about, I know there's lots of theories about Jar Jar Binks being one of the Sith Lords. I thought about writing. I thought about writing about that theory. Um, the theory articles are fun. Like there's a lot of rabbit holes, some weird, but there's a lot of rabbit holes you could dive down. Like I wrote my most recent theory was if Giovanni was Ash's dad, and that was a fun rabbit hole that I found information I didn't even know existed. So
Oh
I
yeah,
do plan
that one's a
at
really
some
cool
point writing
one.
about Jar Jar. I do plan on writing about Jar Jar Binks being a Sith Lord. There's also another theory about a guy named Silver, which in the Pokemon world or universe, Silver is actually in canon Giovanni's son,
Mm-hmm.
and there is uh, a theory that Silver is also Ash's dad. So you know, I don't know when I'll dive into that one. That one also take a lot of work, but I do have some theories coming out that will be cool. So I thought that I heard you guys talk about Star Wars when we came back. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
We were talking about what would be our favorite non-Capcom crossover for Monster Hunter.
Suicune. Just kidding.
Well, yeah.
Lord of the Rings. You can't like.
You can
There
fight the
is
Balrog,
all different
but
types.
All right, I'm gonna throw this out
There's
here.
also a vast amount of weapons. Like you got to
That's
think
true.
all the weapons that you can have. Lord of the Rings.
All the
Gandalf's staff, Legolas's bows, Aragorn's sword, Bilbo's sword.
Yeah, but all the weapons just
So
look
much.
like normal weapons. The Monster Hunter is a very like like not normal. Like even like their
I
normal-ish
think all the
weapons.
weapons have like a. I think all the weapons have like a distinctive appearance. Like I don't know the specific name of all the weapons. Like specific, like we'll talk about Aragon's sword specifically for a second. Like I can tell the difference between like Aragon's sword versus just like a sword that pops up in a video game because sword's exclusive to the King of Gondor or whatever. Sting, the sword that Bilbo had, um, that has a
Aragon's sword just looks like a
distinctive.
normal claymore. Like it has a fancy like bottom to it, but nobody's about to choose that. Not in Monster Hunter.
maybe if it's his sword though. That I thought the same thing about the Devil May Cry stuff in World, and you wouldn't believe how many people were running around as Dante, using his sword, the whole outfit and everything.
I feel
Just
like
because,
Dante's sword has something to it though. I mean, it's got skulls and bones making up like half the actual blade.
yeah,
So like it has some form of design that sets it apart from like just a regular sword. But this is also like my like hot take for like being like a nerdy fellow is Lord of Rings is not that good and it is pretty fucking lame.
Well, you are entitled to your opinion, my good sir.
But that's also
To
probably
be
where a
fair,
little bit
to
of
be
my hate
fair,
should
my
fit.
hot take is, I think League of Legends is a bad game.
That's not
I
a
do
hot
too.
take.
That should have been.
That's a factual statement, brother.
I
It's,
don't think the game's good. The champions are good. I don't think it should be the face of esports. I think in the MOBA world, even though Smite is my favorite, probably always will be. I think Dota 2 probably should have been a bigger face for, or talked about more than League of Legends.
we will not disagree on that at all.
Mhm.
The only thing that I think that like sets League of Legends and the other ones apart is it seems to be a faster paced game than what not like the time like the games get done faster, but like your combats and like your interactions with everything are much more like split second decision type stuff.
Yeah.
But
I
that's
think in the same vein as saying that The Hobbit and all that is overrated, I hear plenty of people talk about Star Wars in the same kind of way, that Star Trek's better, or I don't even like any of the sci-fi stuff. And I think truly it's about how easily you can identify with the fantasy world that you're being put into. Some people really enjoy the simplistic idea of there's a journey to go on, and a weapon doesn't necessarily have to be anything crazy. It's just your weapon and it can be special for that. And me personally, I like the space travel and the crazy aliens and the super high tech goofiness of what Star Wars is, and that's what pushes my buttons, you know.
yeah, I like
You
the
like space? Go ahead.
I like the aliens. I like the fights that they have in Star Wars. I like all the like the lore behind some of the people, and it's not just like, oh, dude's a good general. It's like, no, this dude actually just like went around from planet to planet sucking the life out of the planet because he had to, because he had done that one too many times, and now his body doesn't exist, and so he has to do that if he wants to stay alive. And
Yep.
it's like, yeah, that's pretty fucking cool to me. I mean, wizards with laser swords, count me in, and aliens.
Yep.
Before we move on to the next topic, I want to ask you guys. You talk about space travel and liking Star Wars and stuff. Um, One of my favorite video game series is futuristic, based on space, and one of my favorite TV series is based in space. So I want to ask you guys. Obviously, one of these is kind of a little bit before your time. You were probably kids or whatever. But two things: did you like the Firefly TV series?
Never
I
watched it.
fucking
And
love Firefly.
did you like Mass Effect?
Never played Mass Effect. My cousin really, really enjoys Mass Effect though.
Mass Effect was one of those games that I kind of got turned off by the amount of love that people had for the game. Like they were some people were just feral about it, and I was like, I don't want to be associated with anything that you do. So like I watched some videos and shit on it and watched a few playthroughs, and it looks fun. It doesn't look too bad.
Looks like an excellent game.
I
But
actually didn't like it at first. When I
Oh,
first played it in 2007, whenever the first game came out, I had rented it from Family Video, and like this is when I was playing like Halo 3 every day, many hours and stuff like that. I'm like, do I have time to put into this? And like I played it for a little bit. I'm like, I'm not really feeling it. But then when I went back, I'm like, oh, so this is what the game is all about. And like I said, it's one of my, not my favorite, but one of my favorite video game series. And I have two of the three games listed in my top 100 of all time.
damn.
Okay.
Are they doing anything with that franchise?
Well, you see,
Running it into the ground.
BioWare. Oh, BioWare is an interesting company in the fact that they had multiple branches, but now they're down to specifically one specific, just BioWare in general. And BioWare is the company that does Dragon Age, which Dragon Age Veilguard recently came out and didn't receive a lot of super good praise.
Yep.
The last Mass Effect that released, Andromeda, had a lot of issues on launch. A lot of people didn't like that they were using the Frostbite engine, which is the engine that was just built in, and just didn't like. We never got any like extra DLC or anything else included because what happened is, without spoiling anything specifically, there's different alien races, obviously, because it takes place in space, and there's a lot of alien races that were kind of so they're on these arcs or these big ass spaceships or whatever, and they're all supposed to meet in the Andromeda galaxy and continue pioneering civilization there. And while we never got 100% definitive conclusion for different certain races arcs, because Andromeda got a lot of hate. And so after that happened, they started working on whatever, and Veilguard came out to a lot of mixed reception. And so BioWare has specifically said they're kind of only working on one game at a time. The next game, yeah, that they're working on, obviously besides Veilguard updates or whatever they're doing with that, is the next Mass Effect. They tease stuff every year on N7 Day, November 7th. I actually have written multiple articles, which we can talk about on a later show, about theories that myself, among Mass Effect fans within the community, have about what should be in the next game, what could be about the next game. So it's interesting to see, but it's on the menu. So like this next game that they come out with, I feel is kind of a make or break situation for BioWare as a company. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
You know, I don't obviously I don't want any games to fail. I want every game to be successful. I want every game to find their niche within the gaming sphere. However, Veilguard didn't do as good as they wanted to do. If Andromeda before that didn't do so hot, so I feel if Mass Effect 5, a lot of people don't count Andromeda as 4, but for dexterity purposes, Mass Effect Andromeda's 4. Mass Effect 5 comes out, if it doesn't hit, I feel we might lose another good company, which I hope that's not the case because I love the series.
Yeah.
But
I have one more topic if you want to get into it whenever you're ready.
well, I was gonna say, is it necessarily a good company anymore? Because I mean, if it's a good company, then they would be putting out good stuff, good IPs. I'll give that to you because I see a similarity kind of between that and like Assassin's Creed. Like ever since Odyssey or Black Flag, I've loved like the Assassin Creed genre, and especially since they've updated how the combat works in there because the old combat was awful. But Ubisoft isn't that good of a developer, but their IPs are nice. Their IPs are really good.
Yeah, Ubisoft's a bad company for multiple reasons, for sure.
Oh yeah, Ubisoft's
I
trash.
feel BioWare is still a good company. It depends on how you. Anthem was the game I couldn't think of that didn't do so hot after Andromeda. Anthem did very badly. It depends on how you view BioWare specifically. Like the Mass Effect series was good. Star Wars: The Old Republic they did was good. The other Dragon Age games, Inquisition, Before that, Legends 2, etc. were all good games. Andromeda wasn't so good. I enjoyed Andromeda, but obviously could be better. They had issues at launch. Anthem did terrible. It wasn't what it's supposed to be. They kind of redeemed themselves a little bit with Mass Effect Legendary Edition. They brought that out. Enhanced 4K graphics, all this special stuff to bring people back into the Mass Effect franchise to get them ready for a next potential release. The thing with Veilguard is it depends on how you view specific parts of the game. Like, I can't remember exactly without doing research, but like they hated game. A lot of people didn't like the game for specific reasons that weren't like gameplay purposes specific. Like, a lot of them might have been about like specific characters or something like that. I don't think it had like a lot of like bugs or anything of that mindset. I think it's more of like the diversity, the DIE stuff in video games. I think it had more to do with that. But like I said, I can't remember to be 100% positive without doing research. But I don't think it was specifically because Veilguard was a bad game of why it got the hate.
I do remember seeing a lot of hate on the combat system being super repetitive, and another thing like with the combat system, I guess like you don't control like all your other allies, like they just do their own thing, and that's a complaint that I heard about it, was that you don't have to control, which honestly is something that I very much would much rather my games be. I don't want to have to, in the middle of combat, switch between a bunch of different other characters.
Yeah.
I just want to play the guy that I've made and I've cultivated. But that's what, I think for the most part, what I heard about Dragon Age the Veilguard was more on the like everything else besides like combat gameplay and stuff like that. Like, it wasn't super buggy, which is actually pretty off brand for video games nowadays. But yeah, I just heard that they had pushed a lot of shit that maybe shouldn't be in video games. I don't know. It all depends. Like I said, I haven't played it, so I don't know what that even entails.
I haven't played it either.
So I can't really speak on it. I just know that the game kind of irked a large portion of the video game consumers. So that was, if you continuously have shortcomings and failures, I don't necessarily know it. You can say that it's nice that they're not scumbags like Ubisoft, but they might wanna get their ducks in a row for the next one. Because although I don't play a lot of their games, I would hate to see them on the chopping block like Ubisoft. Because I have every expectation that Ubisoft is done now.
Well, you talked about Capcom getting that injection into the arm. Ubisoft recently had a deal. We had not talked about this on the show. Ubisoft recently made a deal with Tencent, I believe. So they have an injection of funds. So Ubisoft is far from done for now, at least. It just depends.
Yeah,
on
but they needed
releases.
They needed a Superman to come in and save them. And more than likely, Tencent's going to have a microscope inside their assholes to make sure that they don't do anything stupid again.
Tencent likes to own a little bit of everything. They
pretty positive they
own League. They like to have. I believe so. They have their hands in many cookie jars.
Yeah, they do, and almost anything that they have their hands in ends up actually succeeding. So if Ubisoft straightens the fuck up, I would be ecstatic because Ubisoft holds a lot of my favorite IPs. But you said you had one more topic. Is it a quick one we can get through?
Yeah.
Because I have a birthday party that I did not realize the time on that we were at.
I believe so. So, Larian Studios, out of left field, makes Baldur's Gate 3 this amazing game. Baldur's Gate has had amazing history, video games, lore, stories, Forgotten Realms, everything. Baldur's Gate's legendary. So obviously, critically acclaimed game of the year, Baldur's Gate 3. Lots of voice acting. The voice actor for Stereon won multiple awards. I'd say it's probably the best game, not including Suikoden because it was a remaster, but the best new game that I have played in quite a few years is Baldur's Gate 3. They made their final patch, patch 8. Obviously, besides bug fixes and stuff that might need to be fixed, whatever. But patch 8 includes split screen finally for Xbox Series S, crossplay between all platforms: PlayStation, Xbox, PC. The mods are also crossplay accessible. Awesome photo mode, UI functionality improvements, and there was a lot. I chose not to include every UI functionality improvement. Bug fixes. The big thing that I'm excited for, we're all D&D people here. We all know we all know you got the base classes and you got a shitload of subclasses. So your D&D experience never needs to be the same D&D experience more than once.
Yep.
They came out with 12 more subclasses. They have the Path of the Giant for the Barbarian. They have College of Glamour for the Bard, Death Domain for the Cleric, Circle of Stars for the Druid, Arcane Archer for the Fighter, Way of the Drunken Master for the Monk, which sounds hilarious,
It's awesome.
Oath of the Crown for the Paladin, Swarm Keeper for the Ranger, Swashbuckler for the Rogue, Shadow Magic for the Sorcerer, Hex Blade for the Warlock, and Blade Singing for the Wizard. Now,
Oh,
I wrote multiple Baldur's Gate 5 tips for new players. I even wrote about some of the best builds. So I'm interested. I don't know how much we've talked about Baldur's Gate between us three, but what is your guys' take on the success of Baldur's Gate, this final update, and what do you think about this update and everything?
So my opinion's probably going to matter the least out of everybody because I had the worst of luck playing Baldur's Gate 3, and so I stopped playing it. And it took me 3 tries to get through the little brains as soon as you crashed because I continuously got nat 1s and they got nat 20s. It took me 3
So
tries.
you have the Corey Lee luck. He complains about rolling ones and stuff all the time. I
And
will say that my experience with rolling was average. Did I roll some ones? Yeah. Did I roll 20s? Yeah. But I'd say my stuff was all over the range, and they have a mechanic in the game which you wouldn't have had access to yet because that's pretty early on of inspiration points, which allow you to re-roll those rolls. So you did have a bad experience, it seems.
yeah, and I finally beat it. Walked down the road, found found like 8 goblins to my 2 people, and I rolled a nat 1, got nat 20, then I fucking turned the game off and didn't play it again.
that was, I think,
That was
if
like
it
launch
wasn't
day.
launch day, it was the day after, and we were playing,
Yeah.
and it was. I don't know if it was ever confirmed that there was an issue, but it was really bad. We got to the where you're trying to get into the goblin camp, and they have the high ground, or you're
Yeah.
trying to get into the camp, and the goblins ambush you, and they're trying to keep the goblins out, whatever it was, and it was literally every one of their rolls was a crit.
You're
Yeah.
trying to get into Emerald Grove where the
Yes.
druids are. And
Yep.
they're trying it has the tieflings, the druids, and they're trying to keep the goblins. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's funny you
one of
mentioned
my
it was
companions
just you and one other person, Skags.
It was well, I did. I think I picked up one person before that because I know one of my companions that I had got one shot, like one hit, they were dead. I was like, how am I supposed to beat a fucking game that decides to at the very start get one shot one of my fucking characters? And so I quit it and I never picked it up. Maybe I'll pick it up again.
You actually, I hope so, and I will implore you to do that at the end of the podcast. You
Nope.
actually find two companions on the ship.
You can.
It's been out for a while, so it's not really a spoiler. But the pods on the ship, there's a cleric that you can get. Her name is Shadowheart. It's who I romanced in my single player playthrough. You actually get her on the ship. She's not as, I'd say she's relatively simple to find, but only if you're actually like looking and you're not just going straight for the exit of the ship when you're on the ship. Obviously, you find the Githyanki fairly easy, but when you land, the Githyanki ends up getting trapped in a cage. You have to find her, and then there's like one of the checkpoint gates. You find the wizard, so it's understandable that you could have ended up getting into Emerald Grove without actually
I didn't have a
with
full
just one
party.
companion.
I did not
Yeah.
have a full party.
I did not have a
for
full
sure.
party either, but I had two characters. I don't remember which. I know I had the cleric, and I don't remember what the second one was. But
Yeah, so it was just-
even if you don't recruit the cleric, she shows up at like that locked door. But you guys played on launch day, so it might be different. There's like a locked door you can find at some temple, and the cleric person appears there. But
Okay.
I definitely implore you to try it again at some point, even if you guys play together, by yourself.
Yeah.
A lot's changed, but I did see you guys perk up when I mentioned all those subclasses.
Hexblade,
And-
baby.
Just playing my single player playthrough, I put I can't remember exactly. I don't want to turn on my Xbox to find out, but I think I've had like 120 hours in before I decided, okay, let's finish single player playthrough. And there's so much stuff that I know that I didn't do that I could have. If you look just at the achievements or trophy list in general, control the nether brain to do your will, defeat the nether brain, control the nether brain, and the for the ball or whatever, the god of death or whoever the hell he is. There's so many different. It's even in D&D. That's why D&D is such a great game, and like a lot of people find it like a geek thing or a nerd thing. But even you look at some of the people that play D&D now. Critical Role has a lot of great people. They just recently did a Suikoden one shot, which was really cool with Konami doing all their special stuff. There's a guy, Freddie Prince Jr. Is that his name? There's a guy who used to write for WWE, and he plays a lot of D&D. And there's just a lot of like celebrities or popular people. Good Mythical Morning. They have their subscription service for the website, and they actually have a section on there. I've not watched any of it, but they're playing D&D. So like D&D is just so unique. It's like you can almost do anything you want to do, and that's one of the reasons why people love video games. Well, specifically outside actual like board games, specifically video games, is it allows you to escape into a world and be able to do some stuff you aren't normally able to do. Skags mentioned Hexblade. That's amazing. I'll be different in future playthroughs, but I'm always a rogue when I play in D&D because I would never go through, I would never steal stuff in real life, stuff like that. But I like to go through, use my charisma on people, stuff like that. And I've not even witnessed like probably half or a quarter of what Baldur's Gate 3 has to offer. Like they did so many, there's so many different lines of text for whatever you might do or see. Like I fought a dragon that's under a prison in Boulder's Gate that a lot of people knew about, but then I was talking to other people, they didn't know this dragon existed.
Mhm.
So, but any of the subclasses pique your interest, Quentin, as a fellow D&D buff?
Yeah, the Blade Singer Wizard is always a cool class. And it sounds like it would be fun, especially in Boulder's Gate. Boulder's Gate is that special middle ground, because I know we were talking earlier about like how games. I'm very much a play a game once through and have my fun with it, and then kind of be done with it. But Boulder's Gate is one of those games where I feel like you could play it 10 different ways with 10 different, I mean, you could play it a million different ways, but you could build 10 characters and choose to play the game 10 different ways, and you would have just as much fun as any other time. So I'd be interested to probably get back on and try with one of the. I'm sure there's even new subclasses and things since the last time I played. You know.
Oh yeah, and it would be interesting for like I've not really got to play multiplayer. Every time I tried to play multiplayer with good old Byron, I'm sure you remember Byron Skaggs. But I tried to play with Byron. Byron's the one I played the most with, but I bought the game for Brady. Tried to play some with Brady, and then me, Andy, Brady, and Byron tried to play, and just it's hard to get them off Rainbow Six Siege or the games that they play. So I think it would be interesting to have a multiplayer game since it's all crossplay now.
Yeah.
At some point, I'm going through on honor mode by myself to say I beat honor mode if I can.
Yeah.
But like some of the mods they have is really cool. If you like mods, I recommend going through all the mods. They have UI improvement mods, even though UI is amazing already. You can get classes to level up to level 20. Extra spells these people went in with the toolkit and everything, designed them specifically to work with 5th edition, which is what Baldur's Gate's based off of. And it's kind of like it's like this game's like a creme de la creme of role playing games, and I don't know. And it being the creme de la creme of role playing games as of right now is like a lot of like Larian Studios has said that they're not making Baldur's Gate anymore. They're going to work on something else. So that means Baldur's Gate will go to somebody else, and whenever Baldur's Gate 4 happens in the future, it's a lot to live up to because they don't have the same people that made Baldur's Gate 3 what Baldur's Gate 3 was. It's going to be a completely different group of people. And yeah, some game studios can pass off a title to somebody else and hit magic like Bethesda passed off Fallout, and we hit magic with Fallout New Vegas. It's hard to say that that's going to happen with something as massive and as big as Baldur's Gate 3. And a lot of people can say Baldur's Gate 3 being as special as it is, as amazing of a game as it is, like it hurts RPGs in a way of trying to meet of like the success or the glory of a Baldur's Gate. So I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think we ever see a game like Baldur's Gate 3 again. And now we have potentials in the future, like the Quest. I mentioned it before to you guys. The Quest has a Dungeons and Dragons base game like Demio, based on their combat system. But like it's a DM-less game where multiple people can go on an adventure together. It's going to start with 2 adventures when it comes out. Obviously, VR is going to be different, but like it'll be interesting to see the impact that Baldur's Gate 3 has on future RPG releases because I believe studios are capable, but I don't think that they will get the time necessary to be able to reach the success of Baldur's Gate 3.
Well, we now know that a studio. I mean, because Larian Studios isn't a very big studio, right? If I'm not mistaken, they
Oh
are.
no,
No.
not at all.
Yeah. So if a studio like that can pull off that game, there is no excuse for any of these other big gaming companies to not put out similar, if not better quality with the tons and tons and tons of resources more that they have than that studio. And I hope that that's the way, that's what their legacy shapes is changes the gaming
470
is.
employees as of last year.
Yeah.
470.
I hope that's their legacy, is changing the gaming industry for the better in terms of making everyone aware that, hey, you can make something incredible and great, and you have to put time and energy and love into it, instead of, here is the next Call of Duty that is the same as the last Call of Duty, except now you can dress up like a banana and your guns look like spell books.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree. They if Larian can do this, then not everything has to be up to this fucking amazing of a game, but at least drag the bottom line of dog shit that everybody's putting out up to at least good. Let's not be in bad and dog shit anymore. Let's try to make a good game. We don't have to make a Baldur's Gate 3 level game, but make a good game. That's all that.
Yep.
That's all that.
A complete game.
Exactly. I mean, well, a good game is always going to be complete, and that's what you. That's everything that we've always asked for as like the gamers, is just to have a good game and do the best that you can to have a good game. And they just want to churn out shit as fast as they can. And I don't know. I don't see an end of that in sight. Especially with, Baldur's Gate 3 released, 2 years ago? And
Yeah.
Ubisoft just put out Assassin's Creed, which got shit on for more than just like their gameplay, but I haven't heard anything spectacular about gameplay from them either. So obviously it didn't kick them in the nuts hard enough to get them to maybe delay it and be like, "Oh, we got to do better." I don't know. Veilguard looked good. I think that Veilguard just got shafted because of like the other things that they did in the game, and that just turned people away.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't really heard of a whole lot of like amazing games outside of like there's, at least lately, like there's Monster Hunter. There's that one other game. It's that I've been seeing everybody play, but it's kind of like
Repo.
a repo. But
Balatro.
no, it's almost like a Souls-like game, but I think it's also like a Souls roguelike game. And
Hades.
no,
Is it the one that FromSoft came out with? Their newer game. I'm trying to look through here on.
I know a YouTube channel that I can go to find it. So just give me a second. I'll have. But it looks fun. It looks pretty. It looks well made. First Berserker Kazan.
Kazan. Yeah.
Kazan.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. That game looks beautiful, man. Looks beautiful. It looks fun. I mean, very well made. Nobody's ever gonna get Call of Duty to buck up and do anything Wild ever again. They have probably reached that too big to fail spot just because they have such a grip on everything. Yeah, I think those are the only two that I've seen that I'm like, okay, everybody is like this is a big game release that everybody is like loving.
Yeah.
But I'm also not.
It also depends on what you define as a big game release too. I mean, if we're talking like
nothing
big AAA Call of Duty's Assassin's Creed, like because Split Second, I think it's Split Second.
Oh, Split Second
not Split
is another
Second.
one
I'm
that I've
thinking
been
Magic
seeing.
Mechanics. I think of Magic Mechanics. It's not called Split Second.
Split Factor?
It's called something else. Yeah, I'll find out.
Split Fiction.
It's
Split
called
Fiction.
something else. Yes, Split Fiction.
Yep.
The same people that won Game of the Year for It Takes Two.
Yeah. I've been seeing that.
There's a lot of
play
smaller
it.
games.
Go ahead.
There's a lot of smaller games that have ginormous success. Like we just talked like
Yeah.
Split Faction, It Takes Two, Balatro is a highly addictive game. I hear. I have it downloaded. I've not played it yet. But like if we're talking, like you just mentioned, big games, it's hard to say how many are coming out that are successful.
Yeah.
Besides the ones that are technically too big to fail.
Yeah. I'm looking at the top 20 games, top sellers on Steam right now. And you have, I mean, games like Warframe and War Thunder are 17 and 18. Those are free to play games. And they're the top downloaded games and this is a list of 100. I'm just doing the 20. But you have Rainbow Six Siege at 20, Last of Us Part 2 remastered at 19. And your top 10 is games that I would expect. You have Baldur's Gate 3 at 10, Lords of the Fallen version 2, which I think is a new release of an older game. But 7 is Repo. 3 is that Schedule 1 game that's everybody's playing right now, just the silly like you're a drug dealer game, you know?
Yeah.
And RuneScape Dragon Wilds obviously is number 1, but that's, you know, shout out to all the RuneScape homies out here who've been patiently waiting all this time.
I want to look that up because I've seen a few like clips of it. It looks like it.
The RuneScape Dragon Wilds game?
Yeah.
It looks fun. But number 2 is Counter-Strike, which is also free, you know? So it goes to show you that these AAA games, it says a lot for Baldur's Gate to be up here in the top 10 with 3 free-to-play games that people are willing to pay for a game that was built by a very small studio in comparison to other studios. And you don't even have Call of Duty. The first Call of Duty is in the mid-20s, and it's Warzone, which is the free-to-play version of Call of Duty. So,
Yep. I mean,
that
whenever you churn out cheap just knockoffs, fucking, they're meant to. I mean, it's just like whenever you buy some cheap plastic thing, it's meant to break, and it's cheap enough to where you just go get a new one.
Yep. And they make a lot of money off you buying that.
Yep. And so that's all that they're going to do. And we've let them be able to milk us dry on all of that. I might check out this RuneScape game.
Dude, don't. Because if you do, I do.
We'll be playing RuneScape.
Well, that's all I got. That's all I got for Baldur's Gate. I just kind of want to know what your guys' opinion was.
Yeah, no.
Give Lane Studios their flowers because they made an excellent game with excellent characters that are true to who they are in the series. Like the lore is accurate and everything.
Listen, I don't think our flowers is going to compare to what they've gotten over the past 2 years. That studio's drowned in
They're
flowers.
still getting awards. They're still getting awards. The
What the
voice of
hell else?
Asterion just
What more awards are
well,
there?
award shows start in like November, and they go until like the next year and stuff. So like, but like just I think like a legacy award or something. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, they still getting notoriety and still getting their claim to fame for Baldur's Gate 3. But that's all I got.
All right. Well, I think that's a pretty. We're gonna end it on one question for the both of you.
Uh-oh.
We have different ways of playing games here in life. TCGs, tabletop RPGs, and we have our video games. You even got VR. What is everybody's favorite way to play games? Because video games is really the more accessible one because it's hard to get everybody together to play TCGs or TTRPG.
Yeah.
But you could enjoy that more. It's just a lot less easy to get a bunch of people together.
I think my favorite way to play a game is video games and handheld video games.
Okay. Mine would be video games and TTRPGs tied. It's just, like I said, so hard to get people together on a scheduled time for like 6 hours out of a day to play a TTRPG. TCGs, sometimes I will commit war crimes if you make me shuffle that deck up again to play one, and sometimes I'll commit war crimes if you don't shuffle up to play another one. It's very moody for me.
Yep.
I think for me specifically, obviously I like all of them.
Oh yeah, we all do.
Right now, my favorite way is of all of these specifically is definitely TCG. I feel it allows me to. Am I the best Magic player, Yu-Gi-Oh player, whatever TCGs I might try? Absolutely not. However, it allows. It's like me and Riley kind of have like the same mindset when it comes to Magic. It allows us to test our minds, be able to try out. There's so many different cards in Magic the Gathering, as well as Yu-Gi-Oh, the games that have been around for quite some time. There's so many different cards, so many different ways, formats that you can play, arts of cards you can collect. As of the last recording, I believe I mentioned I recertified as a judge, even though I have no rewards because we talked about the judge program last show. I'm recertified as a level 1 judge. I feel more useful to my friends, my local community, the game overall of just TCGs overall. I feel more useful, and people want my opinions more on obviously Magic specifically, but I feel like I fit in a lot with Magic, and I feel like I'm wanted more when it comes like I can make more friends easier. Magic's not just about playing the game. It's about the gathering. It's Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! Is it a complicated game? Yes, it is, but it's not just about playing the game. It's about, the trading with the friends, the expressing yourself in whatever decks you might build, and it's about the gathering. Same thing with Pokemon, One Piece, Digimon, Dragon Ball Z, Legend of the Five, Harry Potter, DC Versus, World of Warcraft trading card games, Zatch Bell,
Zatch Bell.
World of DC trading card game. I think I might have said that already. Oh, Naruto trading card game. Lord of the Rings trading card game. All these different card games. Alestrals is new. Nostalgics is new. All these different card games I've played, new ones I'm learning that I've tried over the years. It allows so many different ways to express yourself, whether from deck building, helping people, being a judge for whatever specific game you're playing. However, if technology gets good enough to where games are specifically VR, not video, not specifically like video games, but specifically VR MMO video games get to the level of technology of Sword Art Online, being able to just lay there on the couch, the bed, and be in this game for like hours on end, feel stuff that happens in there, like a game as real as Sword Art Online. I feel I personally would be hard pressed, as much as I love Magic the Gathering and all these trading card games. I feel I'd be hard pressed to play anything else but a game as realistic as Sword Art Online. And I've said it before, it might make me sound crazy, but if the technology is as good enough as is in anime, and it was a situation where you can try this try this realistic VR MMO game, but the caveat is, the same thing with the first season of Sword Art. If you die in the game, you die in real life. I'm 36 years old. I've lived plenty. My daughter's almost an adult. I would be perfectly fine being in the Sword Art Online world. While right now, TCG, my prime place. It's where I'm wanted. It's where I can express myself the most. I was playing Magic Arena because I couldn't sleep last night before I joined the podcast with you guys. So to answer your question, TCGs now, if technology gets better, I will never be leaving a VR MMO world. I just won't.
But yeah.
Fair enough and understandable. But all right, I think that's where we're gonna drop it, and I think it was some really good discussion. So, all right,
Yeah.
everybody, it's been the Dodgy Yeti, Chris Jones, and Q here for the Thicc Boi Hours, and we're out. See ya.